The year is 1939. The Reds want Finland's borderline. Negotiations don't work out with those who'd shell themselves for clout. Thursday morn, Helsinki's bombed. The borders crossed, the war is on. If taken by the communists, our Finland will cease to exist. Outnumbered 5-1 in men, tanks, planes, and guns. In agile weapons, what we need. We'll use your new design, Lati, with ranged pinpoint accuracy. We'll move with guts and strike on ski. Veiled in snow, attack as one. To the white death they shall succumb. Stretched along the Mannerheim, defend with trenches, traps, and mines. We'll fight until we've won. Resist until they run. So they fall. Men, Finns, and Reds spill blood. Cross the frigid snow, we will stall. Flank, ambush, hold the front. How many lives will they give up? When will it be enough? War revolves, Timoshenko's renewed the assault. Fire's raining down, so it falls. We can't take these strikes for long. 10 days come and go, can't go on. Pressure on the line's too strong. Mannerheim's broken through, bunkers lost. The end of it all has come. Oh, the winter war is done. The Soviets have won. Oh, but was it worth the cost? Was it worth all the loss?